Junior Gibbs. Breakout season loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown.
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
What's going on, everybody? It's Braylon Edwards here with the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports 2.0. I am your host, and I'm ready to get after it, man. We won't mess around today. As you can see on the board, as you understand, as you heard the information today, it is a huge day involving your Detroit Red Wings and the former GM, that is Steve Yzerman. I introduced to desk. What's going on, my boy Anson Wells? How you feeling today?
I got my victory shirt on.
You know,
I got
I appreciate
my Spanish
that.
victory shirt on.
You claim Spain since 1994. You stuck with Spain. You hung in there. Spain overtakes France. We'll get into that later. We'll get into the All-Star game. Guess what? 3-0, AL1. Nothing else to talk about. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to my boy Justin Satawa, who has a great conversation for you. But let's just start with it. Steve Yzerman is now out as the GM for the Detroit Red Wings. Now, we don't know how this came to be. We don't know if it was Steve Yzerman stepping down. We don't know if it was a conversation from Chris Ilitch removing him from that role. But what we know is he is no longer the GM, but he will be working with the Detroit Red Wings in a senior advisory role. During his tenure as the Detroit Red Wings GM, 224 wins, 251 losses, 52 overtime shutout losses as well. Before we get into the conversation, let me outline the timeline for you, if you will, because I think it's very important to note the timeline as we have this discussion today. And shout out to the people that sided with Dylan Larkin. I was one of those people. Here you go. March 1st, 2023, the long-term commitment. Larkin signs an 8-year, $69.6 million extension, $8.7 million average. March 2025, the first public crack. Red Wings have a quiet trade deadline, March 7th, 2025. They make no notable moves. And at the end of the season, Larkin spoke openly about that, saying it'd be nice to add something to bring a little bit of spark on the ice, maybe a morale boost, if you will. Steve Yzerman, who does not like being talked about and will answer the clap back, he said, and I quote, he doesn't like the criticism, "I'm counting on our best players, our leaders, to give us a bit of morale boost. That's why they are paid. That's what they get paid for, and that's the expectation for them." Fast forward, February 2026, Team USA wins in Milan, and you understand what that did to the Kachucks, to the Hughes, to the Dylan Larkin. They formed that bond like Voltron. Shout out to those individuals, and that's when he started to understand and get a sense of what they were. Now, moving past April, May 2026, the playoff drought, which is a decade. Red Wings missed the Stanley Cup for the 7th year in a row under GM Steve Yzerman, who was brought here to bring about change coming from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then June 4th, 2026, the bomb drops, and that's when Dylan Larkin requests a trade. And that's when it reverberated all throughout the city of Detroit, all throughout the NHL, if you will. A move like that, only one may be on the records of being of that magnitude. Dylan Larkin, the captain for the Detroit Red Wings, asking for a trade. And then since then, Yzerman, June 27th, he addressed it for the very first time, and he says, "Dylan has 5 years remaining on his contract. My job as the manager of the Detroit Red Wings is always to do what is in the best interest of the Detroit Red Wings. I cannot make any guarantees that the request could or will be met." July 15th, the day is today, the resignation of Steve Yzerman. We don't know exactly how it came to be, whether it was a force or whether he himself did it, but this is where we are today. I'll give you a quick thought, Anson, Riley, Justin, on what I think. And Justin, I want you to take it from there. I want you to run with the show. I think this is a situation where Chris Ilitch and the Detroit Red Wings, one, you don't want to ruin a partnership that you have with an iconic character. He is an icon here. He's Stevie Y. He's 19. He's my captain, 4-time Stanley Cup champion here with the Detroit Red Wings. We've seen this happen in the past where individuals that were icon, relationship gets sour, not a good look. If you don't believe me, ask the Detroit Pistons and Joe Dumars how that relationship is. I think this is Chris Ilitch, one, getting ahead of that situation, still keeping him around, and two, understanding Dylan Larkin and the players today. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, they have power. They have ability. They have a little bit of stroke. They have leverage. Your situation is 10 years, no playoff appearances, 7 of those under Stevie Y, who was brought about to bring change. That change has not happened, and now here we are. Dylan Larkin, he made his move. He stood his ground, and it seems as though the Red Wings, Justin, have sided with Dylan Larkin. What say you?
Absolutely. And I went on Woodward Wings earlier. I literally straight out of bed. I didn't even have time to think about it. I was just in such a big of a hurry to get here. But I have now, with some time to process it, I now think that this was the last card that Dylan Larkin had to play up his sleeve. And the ace of demanding a trade. Because where he was always coming from and where why he was unhappy was always because we didn't have enough around him and they couldn't win. And as soon as this happened, one of the first things that I said is, I can't blame Dylan Larkin. This team is not where it needs to be in year 8 of the rebuild. Obviously, I did think it was a soft move initially. But now, as we are privy to more information, things change. And now, seeing that Dylan Larkin has most likely gotten his wish. He might have other issues with the Detroit Red Wings right now, and he may still get traded. But now the opportunity for him to come back is there. Think about the players on the team now. Obviously, it's not a full media sport like the NBA and the NFL is, but still, to have complete closed mouths in a situation where your captain quit on you and there is supposedly going to be a locker room outcry, then where was any of it? Where was any noise? There was nothing. And the only thing that we heard about was how unwilling Steve Yzerman was to truly play ball. Because this goes back to the sour contract negotiation when they were in talks. And this Larkin got a pretty good contract, but the fact that he hardballed Stevie always stuck a sour taste in Stevie's mouth, because at the time it was a little bit of an overpay, and that was the start of the end of their relationship. Then we hear that they go a year and a half without talking, and now Steve Yzerman is the one that is not stepping down at the beginning of an offseason. Not right before the season started when the offseason was over. We are in the dead middle of the NHL offseason right now. The draft just happened, the start of free agency. This makes no sense unless they caved to Larkin. And this and the new GM, whoever he is, maybe he doesn't align with Larkin. Maybe he truly does want to reset and go to the Sider Raymond timeline. But think about how the Ilitches are managing the Tigers. They are consistently just trying to make the playoffs, just trying to be relevant. And keeping Larkin guarantees staying relevant, guarantees you a path for a possible playoff appearance. Thanks. It doesn't guarantee a Stanley Cup. It doesn't guarantee that you're ever going to be built to a point of a Stanley Cup. And I will argue that it's probably not the best thing for the franchise to stick with this core. However, this core has proven that they can put up just around a playoff season time and time again, and that, as we've seen with the Tigers, could be enough for the ownership. And that is where, now with them choosing Larkin, it's going to be interesting how this moves forward.
It's definitely going to be interesting how this move is going to move forward. One of the things I missed in that when I was talking about the timeline, and you talked about it, is once he came out and said what he said in 2025 about not making moves at the trade deadline after the season, Steve Yzerman came out and said what he said. That was the last time that they had conversation. There was no conversation. There was nothing exchanged. And if I'm just looking from that from the standpoint of Chris Ilitch, which I actually like the fact that this has come how it's coming, because it shows you that it's not Chris not spending money. It's not this. It's not Stevie Y not being able to be handicapped, if you will. This is them moving on from that situation. You cannot be a GM. You cannot be a GM and not talk to your best player, your captain, your leader, everything that you dubbed him to be. There's got to be some conversation. And when you don't operate in that space, why the hell would I come here if I'm insert player? The only reason why I would come here is insert Dylan Larkin. It's because Dylan Larkin asked, because I believe in what Larkin is, and that's what you get in this situation, Anson.
Jaco Craig in the chat, he can never be the captain again.
Yeah.
Watch him. Honestly, if he stays, watch him. He will still be the captain of the Detroit Red Wings if he stays.
This is the first move.
This is the first
move for him, Stan.
I think he's talking about Yzerman.
Stevie Y?
No, I don't think he's talking about Larkin.
Jaco, go ahead and clarify your statement. I'm going to read another one from R.J. Graham here. Sad day for the Red Wings.
It's a tough one.
I have to push back on that one, Bray.
Yep.
Because to me, this is the second best outcome possible. Best outcome, you win a chip, right? That didn't happen here. I don't think I heard any fans that were happy about waiting in another 3 years to see if this guy could do it in 12. At the same point, no one wants to lose him. No one wants the divorce that I've been talking about for so long. You get a lot of things here, Red Wings fan. You still get Stevie. You get your new direction. And I called a couple of my buddies. Shout out Mike Wakefield, one of our guys in Sticks League. He's a diehard fan, and I was asking, what was the emotion that you felt off of this? And he kind of felt some relief, because now all the failure doesn't get lumped on the captain anymore. In fact, that's all going to start going to the place and the proper person that I think the blame needs to ultimately go to. And I think that we're going to get plenty into that when we figure out what is next for the Red Wings.
Yeah, I mean, that is the question. Like, what is next for the Red Wings? Also, too, with chat, I want to know, what side are you on? I want more of those conversations in the chat. Are you on the side of the Detroit Red Wings choosing to move on from Steve Yzerman as the general manager? Or are you on the side of, you know what, maybe Dylan Larkin wasn't the best player. Maybe when you look at what Dylan Larkin has done, maybe you might call him soft for requesting a trade. Maybe you might call him soft for some of the ways he handled it. Let me know what you think in the chat as we go through this conversation. But Justin, just listening to this, it opens up a lot of can of doors, and we'll get into some of that as it relates to Chris Ilitch and the Tigers later. But just focusing on the Red Wings, this is an interesting situation how they play it, because they've moved on from Yzerman, but there's still a lot of mess that the Detroit Red Wings are right now.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of pushback in the chat, but I want to clarify something, all right? It's all about how you view things and how things are given to you. And with the information that was given to us was that Dylan Larkin wanted to be traded. And now there's information that Steve Yzerman is no longer the GM. And we know that they had issues. So you look at him and say, quitter. I challenge you to think, quitter, how about playing the last card that he has to try to get Steve Yzerman to commit to making this team better? And ultimately, I don't know if it's going to be enough to build a championship roster around Dylan Larkin. But the thing about all of this is that Dylan Larkin had nothing else that he could do. He already called out Steve Yzerman in the media. He went to he had his agent go to Steve Yzerman in the draft and ask him about the direction of the team. He said, we are sticking to the process. We are going to continue to go with our youth. And this is the last thing that Dylan Larkin could have possibly done other than sitting idly by and letting the Red Wings continue in mediocrity time and time again for the next couple years until the youth is finally ready to take the jump, which we've been being sold that for the last 3 years, and so has Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin has just as much stake. His entire NHL career is staked on the success of the Detroit Red Wings, and so far, a lot of people in this city and in this town think of it as a letdown, and a piece of that is due to Steve Yzerman not putting a good enough team around Dylan Larkin. That is a piece of it. Yes, you could say that he quit, but if you look at it from a different light, what else was he supposed to do getting into his 30s when his window is closing and asking him continuously to make the team better, and all he brings you is one Justin Falk edition at the trade deadline. I understand where he's coming from. He wants to win, and why do you think, if he really wanted to leave so bad, how come the list is still 3? How come the list is so specific where it's literally guaranteed that he will win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years? For him, he probably doesn't want to leave, people. Like, let's start wrapping our head around it.
But you support this? I'm sorry. I support that if you're a superstar. Dylan Larkin is not a superstar. He has never done anything in this city. If you're that great where you're going to demand to only 3-4 teams and you're going to disrupt this thing and be the catalyst for the outing of the captain, not the current captain, but the captain, you haven't done enough for me to see that happen. You haven't done enough to speak out and say, I'm going to throw this whole franchise into turmoil because I wasn't good enough to be a first-line center.
Okay, and there's some validity to that, but I push back on the individuals like Justin was talking about as it relates to he's been here 8 years.
Sure,
Steve Yzerman. In 8 years, they have not gotten better.
Oh, no doubt.
In 8 years, they are still in the same position that they were in 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So at what point do you look at that? Let's say Dylan never comes out and says this. Everybody was talking about Yzerman needs to be better. Here we go. It's year 7. Here we go. It's year 8. What are we going to do? You still haven't brought anybody in. You're bringing in these second, third line players, expecting them to be on your first line, expecting them to make you better, and they haven't. These are the conversations that we've had about Stevie Y. If you omit Dylan Larkin and what he has or has not been, these are the conversations that we've had about him. And now you have an individual who's your captain. Like you say, he's not the captain. He's the current captain, or at least he was.
Has he been stripped yet, though? Let's talk about that, because that's an important piece of it.
I called him the captain.
Okay, hold on. Okay, my apologies. That the captain. But Stevie Y, how do you not talk to your captain, regardless of how you?
What if he wouldn't be willing to talk to him?
But in terms of who?
You think that Stevie was the one that wouldn't speak to the player?
I do, because it seems like, you know how older individuals get in their feelings, especially older individuals that won. I don't think you're talking to just a general manager. I don't think you're talking to Ken Holland. I don't think you're just dealing with a general manager. I think you're dealing with the ego of a player that is the great, Gordie Howe, no disrespect, Stevie Y, second greatest player in Red Wings history, arguably the greatest American player. Like, all these things for Stevie Y and what he is and what he means, that plays in your ego. That plays in your ego. So, yes, I can see a situation where this comes out. Now he's embarrassed when Dylan Larkin makes those comments, maybe unrightfully so, rightfully so. He's embarrassed. Now he shuts down. I have nothing to say to Dylan Larkin. Like, I have nothing to say to him. You want to get information, I'll talk through the media, or I'll talk through 1, 2, 3, 4 channels of individuals. So I feel like that's the case. And if I'm Dylan Larkin, and if that's the case, and I can't connect with the guy that I idolized, that I brought in, that I wanted to buy into, that I wanted to win with, I wanted this guy to be my idol. I wanted to win a Stanley Cup and say, hey, I did it just like my hero, just like Stevie Y. You're not talking to me. You're not bringing in talent. You guys don't look like you care. We're consistently getting embarrassed once March through April and May happen. We're getting embarrassed. And then it's just a situation where we don't even vibe as a team. You got coaches coming out and saying one thing. I think for Dylan Larkin, the reason why he made that move was, look, I've exhausted what I could do here. The same thing was said about another individual that was the captain, and that was a quarterback. That was Matt Stafford. Exhausted his timeline here in Detroit. Look, I've been 12 years. You can say what you want to about 13 and 14, but those other 10 years, you didn't do enough, and you've wasted my time. I got to get out of here while getting this hot. Matt Stafford leaves. He's winning the Super Bowl. He's won an MVP. He was in a better situation. I think it's similar for Dylan Larkin, where it's like, if you guys don't care, then why should I care?
Freddie Felt, $2 super chat. Stevie and Larkin can go.
And I'm cool with that.
2.0. And then
well,
another
if
one
Larkin
here.
leaves, that makes it even tougher. I think Larkin stays, you got to bust up a lot of other stuff, but I'm not mad.
I'm curious. They might have a problem between him and Stevie. I'm just really curious how the rest of the team feels about Larkin at this point today.
They haven't fought for him. How many times did they get his ass whooped last year?
Steve Wilds, Larkin is paid superstar money, yet a little kitty, Justin.
Well, see, here's the thing. The thing that you can criticize Yzerman for is the fact that he had Quinn Hughes. If he wanted Quinn Hughes, he could have had it. Like, that is reported. And you know what's funny, Braylon? Guess how long Quinn Hughes' contract would have been when it would have gotten expired versus when Steve Yzerman just got fired. Guess when that would have been?
That would have been last year, 2 years.
It would have been next year.
Yeah.
So Quinn Hughes' contract would have ended. In this next year, Steve Yzerman didn't even make it to pass the point he was worried about getting to paying Quinn Hughes. And that is why we don't have a top 3 defenseman on this roster. Also, a guy who calls Dylan Larkin his older brother. There are so many avenues that this could be different. And you just have to look at what Yzerman did not do time and time again. Because you can't tell me that Dylan Larkin is demanding a trade if Quinn Hughes is traded here. Yzerman is definitely not fired. This is a completely different scenario. Scared money don't make money, Bray.
Yeah.
And Yzerman was playing with scared money. He didn't want to give up the prospects for Quinn Hughes, and now he's paying the price. And now he's going to be sitting in the press box just being a advisor until it's another team calls him and he goes and be a GM somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a sad day as it relates to the Red Wings, as it relates to the lore, the history of it all, Stevie Yzerman and what he's meant to this organization, Dylan Larkin. Like, it sucks in that sense. And yes, it's going to suck for a second. It's going to take a step back. But this might be the best thing that happened for this franchise, because regardless of what happens, whether you move on from Larkin or you keep Larkin, whether you blow it up, the organization has realized and understood whatever is going on. If it's Larkin, if it's Stevie Y, it is not working. We are not in a position to compete. We are not into a position to have respect. Hell, when people say Hockey Town, I don't even think they're talking about Detroit anymore. And I guarantee you at the top, Chris Ilitch and the owners and the people involved, they're like, we have to change the way we're doing things because this ain't working.
Hockey Town is Toronto, right?
Shit, they ain't doing this either. Well, at least they finally got a playoff win after a billion years. What, 2 years ago?
Yep.
What you got, Riley? I know you got something on this.
Yeah,
I'm pretty numb to it. I've been here all day. I've heard a ton of different angles on it.
Well, here's your chance.
Right? Yeah. I guess here's mine. I agree with a lot of what Justin said. His sentiment. I just still think, like, Ilitch, Yzerman, like, they're buddies, man. Like, they gotta. I don't think he's gone, and so, like, yeah, I think Larkin's gone. I think the advisory role is going to be there, but then Ego's going to come out. Yzerman is going to want to be a GM again somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to lose them both. And I think we're going to go into a rebuild, personally. And I don't want that at all, because we're not going to get what we want, like market value for Larkin, and that's going to really piss a lot of people off.
And my biggest thing with this whole Yzerman thing, and people are like, oh, did you believe in the Yzer plan? The Yzer plan thing was waning very much so. And there was not a lot of belief there, but the one thing I did believe was that he was going to get the best deal possible for Larkin. And with a new GM coming in, that's why I think that, the open market is attractive, but is it? You know how the Ilitches are. Do the Ilitches really want to rebuild when they've been just outside the cusp of the playoffs for the last 3 seasons? I struggle to see that narrative, honestly. I struggle with them accepting them going like. You're going to see it after Skubal leaves. They're going to do whatever it takes to not have to tank. Again, they're going to try to they're going to try to get at the budget table, find some value there, and they're ninth in payroll right now. Like they're willing to spend money, but just they have a limit with how much money they can spend. The difference is how little the NHL cap is compared to a lot of other sports. It's a lot easier to spend that money than it is to spend money in other sports.
Yeah, everybody gives Stevie Y the credit for the Tampa Bay Lightning winning 2 championships.
He wasn't even there.
That part. Tampa
Sorry,
Bay Lightning.
Didn't mean to rain on your
Mark
parade,
Jackson,
right?
Steve Kerr kind
100%. Part of that, because I think there's a lot of that too. Mark Jackson helped create the system that was there. Steve Kerr took it to another level per se. I think the same may be true in Tampa, but I think maybe we're seeing a little difference. Because when you look at the Red Wings, 8th in the Atlantic, starting with the first year Stevie got here, and I'm just going to go in order. 8th, 7th, 6th, 7th, 5th, 6th, and 6th. What about that is changing? And if you tell me that Dylan Larkin hasn't been good enough for the past 7 years, then shame on the organization for keeping him in there. Shame on the organization for building him up to be a superstar. Shame on the organization for not providing him help.
True.
Shame on the organization for those things. So many people in there in the city of Detroit say, yeah, we like Larkin, but he's not that guy. Well, if he's not that guy, why are you putting so much on him to make this organization that organization?
Well, if I have to answer that, it's because they had nobody else. Shout out to the chat. 24 minutes deep and not one mention of the Shocker yet today.
Hey.
Appreciate that, but we are a little low on likes, so please smash that like.
They don't like to stop it.
Get your
chat's torn.
Get your friends the stream. Share the stream with your friends. And super chat, like Michael Weary did, $5. As much as I love Stevie as a player, he has the same disdain for him as a GM. I'm going to give my final word on this. Stafford, Joe D, Isaiah, Fedorov, Calvin, those were messy divorces.
100%. Alan Trammell.
There's a lot of them. A lot of them in this city.
100%.
Ultimately, as frustrated as the fan base is, you still have the captain. I'm talking about Steve Yzerman. He's still here. And if there's anybody that needs somebody in his ear in town, it is Chris Ilitch.
You're right, and sometimes people are too close to the situation. I think that could be a situation what you're dealing with Stevie Y. You bring up a great point. They're like this. Why are they like this? Because when Chris Illich was young as hell, what was he doing? He was running around the locker rooms kicking it with Stevie Yzerman.
Right, that's
Stevie
like an older
Yzerman was out here
brother.
winning Stanley Cups. So it is a tough situation to navigate through. I think this could be the first part of that, but more will come out. We'll have more information, but we'll get back to this, man. This is a topic and a story that just keeps evolving over the summer. Anson, give me a little word in on Founders IPA, and when we get back, more talk.
One of these days I'm going to get to show off. No, today I'm talking about IPA, guys. Listen, it's hot as hell out there. So
Man, it's hot.
It really is. Cool down with the king of the IPAs, talking all-day IPA from Founders Brewery. 15 years they've been sitting on top with this one. It's not bitter. It's refreshing. It's crisp. It's balanced, citrusy. It's my favorite IPA. So whatever you're doing today, this weekend, get out of the heat and grab yourself an all-day IPA from Founders. But make sure when you do that you drink it responsibly.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Where your fitness is essential. Over 54, actually over 50. 54 is the number. We got the updated specs. 54 gyms around this great state. That's because it's the gym for you. You come in there, you march to the beat of your own gym. Nobody's looking, nobody's judging because it's home of the judgment-free zone. The locker room as well as all the equipment is super clean. And then there's trainers on staff if you need help, if you need guidance. They come up with new equipment, new machines, and new rooms all the time. Your experience at Planet Fitness will be a great one. Remember, we're all strong on this planet, and that planet is, you guessed it, Planet Fitness.
And if you want to see the results from Planet Fitness, but struggling because you're getting up there or something's going on, you one bad eye, one good one, whatever it is, we got you hooked up with the summer special, courtesy of Yaldo Eye Center. 30 plus years in the business, over 100,000 successful procedures, and we're talking about LASIK, the 8-minute painless procedure that will leave you seeing 20/20 by the very next day. Again, $16.99, regardless of what your prescription is. They're going to take care of each eye for that. You can find out more when you visit them online or give them a call, 248-553-9800. Invest in your vision. Give Yaldo a call.
1,000%. And we are back talking about Steve Yzerman being out as the GM for the Detroit Red Wings, but still a part of the organization in a senior role. The Dylan Larkin side of it, who's right, who's wrong, chat. Let me know where you stand. Give us more comments. We want to read them. We want to get you guys more involved. You brought up something interesting, and I think we need to pose that question. The question is, now that GM is out, now that you have to get a new GM, what's the first priority, Justin, of this new GM? Is the first priority to sit down with Dylan Larkin, try to get on the same page, try to see if you can rebuild that relationship and say, hey, I'm doing things different. I want your input. I want conversation. I want constant communication. Do you go that route, or does the new GM come in and right away he's shopping Dylan Larkin and see what the deal is, because that's what's going on now. He shops Larkin. Are you shopping or are you building?
Not to give a cop-out answer, it depends on who the GM is. Honestly, if they come from in the organization, which honestly is a pretty big fear of mine as of right now. If they go within the organization, that tells me they're probably going to try to patch things up with Dylan Larkin. And they're going to try to keep Dylan Larkin. They're going to see the progression of this roster over the last couple of years, because it is true, they have gone up in points every single year in the last, I believe, 5 or 6 years, which is tangible growth, and you can see that. However, I don't see how that ends in a championship without some major flip on its head move that really shakes this thing up. I struggle to see where that gets the Detroit Red Wings to Stanley Cup contention. However, I could definitely see it because I know how bad the playoff streak being broken is important. That might be more important right now than winning a Stanley Cup to a lot of fans, honestly. Like, I would rather wait 4 more years without making the playoffs than make the playoffs this year and then not win the Stanley Cup for the next 10 years versus winning one in the next 10 years but being bad for another 4. That's how I am. But if they go route number 2 and they sell off Larkin with the rest of their assets that they are going to be selling off, if they end up selling off Larkin, they will net 10 first-round assets from their players with 1 year left on their deal plus Dylan Larkin, that they will be able to supercharge a rebuild and be able to have all the picks in the top 60 of the draft that you need to rebuild the team again. And that is probably the route that ends with you closer to a Stanley Cup championship than the route if you continue on forward with rebuilding this current roster and current core.
Okay, you've had Stevie Y in here. Stevie Y has an older mind. He's played in the game. He played in the 80s. He played in the 90s. Do you want to bring in somebody, Anson, that is for lack of a better word, an ultra-aggressive builder, if you will, has done it other places, you've seen it, you have something that you can point to, oh, you built there, this is how you are, this is who you are? Or do you want somebody that's new, somebody that's younger, somebody bringing a modern take on the front office, somebody bringing in analytics, somebody switching the game up, if you will, to modernize your front office? Because if I'm being honest, I don't know anything about what's going on as it relates to black and white and X's and O's, but I tell you like this, they got an old approach. And you can see that from the media, you can see that from the public, you can see that how the players react. They got an old approach.
There seems to be a real shift in all of sports. And I think what it is that you're seeing these kids that grew up with a phone stapled to the side of their head with a tablet in their hand. They had different access to training methods, different understanding of footwork, and we're talking about every single sport. And we've seen these kids start to really come out of school and get into the pros this decade. And I think that it's affected NIL in all the different sports. It's affected coaches as well as players. And you look around and you look at Sean McVay, you look in the NBA and in OKC, these best coaches that are changing the way, Dusty May, these are these young minds that they've kind of been able to get ahead of things. These old guys are operating on the news, and you lose on the news. You win on the rumor, you lose on the news. I do want to go out and get that young guy because realistically, we've got one of the best farm systems in hockey. And I don't want somebody old school minded that wants to come in here and compete for the 6th seed right away and move all of these guys. Because if there's one thing that Stevie Y did build is it's a real nice OHL team, right, Justin? So I guess my question, as you ask it to me, I'm going to deflect it over to somebody that knows more than me. Is there even a name, whether it's the new school guy with the new ideas or an old school guy, is there one name that Ilitch can bring to Detroit that fan base is actually going to be happy about? Because how do you go up from Stevie Yzerman, the captain?
Honestly, I think the best hire is someone that no one knows, that no one's going to know. And there should be no former player. There should be, like, Sean Horkoff is in the system right now. That's the name. That's what Sean thinks it's going to be. I don't want anyone who has been near the Detroit Red Wings in the last...
I agree.
Like at any point, honestly, like seriously, like I want a new era GM. I want a GM that's willing to go offer sheet a young center for $18 million because he can. and not care that he's giving up 4 first-round picks because he could be the next piece that takes you over the top. That's what Philly just did. And Philly is almost the exact same team you are, and that's what the balls that it takes in this modern NHL. And you look at the Floridas of the world, and you look how they're built. You look at Carolina. Carolina is built by a young, I forget his name, but he is like those two. Like, Florida was one of the first analytic-leaning teams in the NHL when it came to, like, going back to how important hitting is, blocking shots, all that type of stuff. And then
Eric Tulsky,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Got you covered.
Eric Tulsky modernized the sport. He really did. And he took all of these undervalued players, a lot like Moneyball, and we talked about it. Moneyball never worked in the MLB, but in the NHL it just worked to this year with Carolina. They do not have anyone over $10 million on their payroll, and that's how Steve Yzerman wanted to build this team. However, he continuously missed on players that Carolina was hitting on in the draft. Steve had 25 first and second round picks that you really haven't seen that much of a return on, versus Carolina's plucking guys out of the 4th round constantly, the 2nd round constantly, that are playing huge roles in them winning a Stanley Cup. They find undrafted free agent Brendan Bussey, who starts 4 games, plays 3 games, starts 4 games, plays 3 games in the Stanley Cup final when Freddie Anderson is dealing with some mental issues with the passing of Claude Lemieux. Like that is what they do. They continuously bring in guys that make a difference. Jordan Staal, 37 years old, their captain. Analytic beauty in terms of defensively, winning faceoffs, blocking shots, penalty kill, all the things that we struggle at. That is what Carolina did, and that's where Eric Tulsky really, like, you need someone like that. You need someone who's going to come in, modernize the approach of the Detroit Red Wings to the modern NHL era.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I'm so sick and tired of people talking about, and this was a conversation for the past 5 years in Detroit. It's like, oh, well, we don't get any good draft picks. We're picking 7th, we're picking 9th, we're picking 10th, we're picking 5th. We've never been higher than 5th. Yeah, we heard that same conversation with the Detroit Pistons. At some point, you got to be able to scout talent. Can you scout talent? As good as you guys are, all your boys in the front office with you, all the guys that won your Stanley Cups, when you were here in Detroit, a lot of those guys are hanging around LCA. A lot of those guys are in task with these roles. Can they scout talent in this era? Because I'm tired of that being an excuse. It shouldn't be an excuse. Riley, I want to bring you a question. You've been in locker rooms.
Yes,
You've been in a locker room vibe. Shout out to Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all love here, man. You know what I'm saying? We're all one big happy family. What does this do for Coach Todd McClellan as he's looking at his players that have to deal with this as well? Because Mort Sider's looking at this situation.
Yeah.
Lucas Raymond's looking at this situation. Alex DeBrinket's looking at this situation. How can you keep your guys focused with all this going on moving into the season, which starts in October? It's got to be a tall task.
It's a very, very, very tough task. And you want to know what? You need to rely on those 3 guys in there. I mean, have DeBrinket, have Raymond, and who's the one other?
Sider.
More Sider.
Thank you. Who's the best one out of those 3 anyways? Is it Mo Sider? Or is
Yes,
it
Sider.
At this point, I would try to, like, actively use him as, like, a captain and, like, have them with, like, those 3 just rally the troops. That's seriously about it. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, you can lose your captain in the next, like, 72 to 96 hours.
That's very true. You definitely need to click out of those guys trying to
Like
keep
the guys
them
that are
maintained.
there.
But it's one of those uncharted territories. You're asking guys that haven't even looked at a captaincy type role to deal with a situation. Anson, we talked about this situation has maybe happened once. I think they brought up who they bring up back in the day. It'll get to me in a second, but it's only happened once, and I don't think it's ever happened like this. It's got to be tough for Todd McClellan, who complained about his players last year and complained about certain things around the organization.
Yeah, there's a bad vibe over there.
Bad juju.
I gotta be honest, man. Like we can talk about the captainship and talk about who's going to be here and who not. It's ultimately going to come down to your new GM, but there's still a common thread here, and it's Chris Ilitch making his father roll over in his grave in the way that he's running these 2 franchises.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Probably my greatest fear in my life is messing my father's business up after he's gone. I'm not gonna lie, that terrifies me. And when you look at the barely making the playoffs, Tigers, without any of the moves that you want, without the spending you want. He did spend this offseason, but then you look at the Red Wings, and it's so similar. They just didn't squeak into the playoffs. They could have any one of these other years, but outside of a playoff appearance, they don't really look very different. And ultimately, while we're all blaming Stevie, while we're questioning whether, Hinch is the right guy or not, and I even saw somebody in here earlier in the chat saying, is Ilitch going to fire Chris Harris as well? Well, he wasn't fired. But the fact is there's a very common thread. And I love the Ilitch family and what they've done for this state and this city. But when you look downtown at the buildup that we were promised around the stadium, and now these two teams that we've had right on the cusp of greatness, and the unwillingness to dump the bag because we know you got it. Meanwhile, we got to force things through the forward board, and it's actually working. And then you got the worst owner in sports flipping the script and becoming the best owner in town. Shout out Tom Gores. 2-year turnaround. And I hear the guys in the morning always talking about how quickly you can flip an NFL franchise. You can flip any franchise in sports nowadays that quickly, Braylon. So the common denominator here is Chris Ilitch, and he's got to do better. I guess I'm curious, is Stevie going to be involved with the Tigers too now, Bray?
I definitely don't think he turns in his hockey stick for a baseball bat. But realistically, man, just think about this process. I mean, you bring up a valid point. What are they doing as it relates to ownership? What are they doing in the front office? When they went to the salary cap in 2017 and they moved on from the GM, that GM being Ken Holland, it seems like ever since that point, the Red Wings have been clawing and scrapping to try to figure out what they're doing. They struggled 2018-19. Then they bring in Stevie Y. Well, hell, Stevie Y knows what he's doing. He's our guy. He's a captain, no captain. He's 4-time Stanley Cup. We'll see what he's building out there in Tampa Bay. Let's bring him in, Justin. He knows what he's doing. Let's give somebody that knows what they're doing. Well, 8 years later, doesn't look like Stevie Y in that space knows what he's doing as a GM. And now here we are right back at square one, seeming as though since the salary cap, since moving on from the GM, which is Ken Holland, Detroit Red Wings are just in this perilous situation of struggle and confusion.
Yeah,
my bad.
Sorry. I apologize. I was trying to make sure there was no new reports out there because I honestly haven't checked my phone in way
Sergei
too long.
Fedorov's been hired as the GM. Wait, is that breaking news? No,
your hair has been on fire all day, and we appreciate you, Justin. You've been crushing it. Nothing in the pipe, though, eh?
No, it seems there is nothing in the pipe at the moment. I mean, Kane's gonna leave, but I don't really care about that. Anyway.
I know where I could go to get something. I know where I could go to get something from my pipe.
And I'll answer that question after the break, Bray.
Sounds good. Talk about it, Anson. Where will you go to answer that?
You guys already know. Specifically, I'm going to Berkeley. 12 and Woodward. But we're talking about Loom. I love this place. 40 locations. It's the boutique dispensary of Detroit. It's clean, and all their product is awesome. And their employees, man, super helpful, super knowledgeable. And we want to save you 30% off the next time you head on over there. Whether you use that QR code above my head or you visit them at loom.com, that WSN30 is going to save you that 30% off. You could also use it in person at one of those 40 locations statewide. Make sure you check out the Buzz and Energy while you're there. We love it. And they're going to give you some free stuff. So make the trip. It's Loom.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that.
Don't just survive, thrive.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Keyworth Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at deadcityfc.com.
Season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
I can't wait because I have committed to Wednesday pizza night. I'm going to save myself 20% off too. I'm talking about the original. Since 1946, Buddy's Pizza, the originators of the Detroit-style deep dish pizza. When you head on over to buddyspizza.com, that promo code Woodward20 is going to do just that. It's going to save you 20% off your pizza or wings or salad or spaghetti and meatballs. Spaghetti and meatballs is honestly fire. But hey, we also want to save you that up to $200 off of catering. So you can check that out when we send you over there with that Buddy's Pizza, Woodward 20% off. But I got to tell you a little more. I got to tell you about Supreme Lending now too. All right, guys, because it is home buying season, and we're going to save you money with Buddies, but we also want to save you money with our partnership with Supreme Lending. When you mention Woodward Sports, they're going to save you up to $500 off of your home appraisal. But you want to call Chris and Chad over there early in the process. They're going to help you walk through all of it and get you into the best position possible by the time you close, so maybe you can get that 0% down payment program you've seen there on the screen. We will for sure save you that $500 off. So make sure you mention Woodward Sports sent you.
And we are back. I see what you did there too, because I'm definitely hungry. I know everybody here in the studio is hungry. Yeah, 100%, man. We'll get something cracking.
That was a reminder.
It was a good one. No, I did. It was a really good one because my stomach was reminding me as well. Welcome back into the show, talking a lot about Steve Yzerman as well as Dylan Larkin's situation here in town. Steve Yzerman steps down today as GM, and now the conversation has reached the crux. Whose fault is it? Who's to blame? Where's the organization? Where are they going? Justin, I asked you before we went to break, just talking about where the Red Wings have been since the inception of the salary cap, since moving on from Ken Holland, just not being able to get a stance, not able to get a footholding in this town. Like, I had a question, is how do you watch this situation play out? How do you look at this situation play out and then continue to talk about the Dylan Larkin side of it? Like, because legitimately, people in the chat, I feel them buzzing. I've heard people talking about it all day. Even when it first came out, Dylan Larkin requesting a trade, people was Dylan this, Dylan that, and Dylan this, and Dylan that. Like, the team is in a rut. The team is in disarray, regardless of what Dylan Larkin came on did. And obviously now, with them moving Steve Yzerman out of the space, however it came about, the team is still there. Like, I just don't understand the people that are trying to place everything that this organization is on Dylan Larkin, who you guys already told me is not a superstar.
I got a question for Justin, and it goes right along the lines with what's next. Is
hit me with it.
I want you to be GM. In fact, I've seen like 3 people in here, Satawa for the future GM. You just got hired, okay? What's your first move? And then, if it's not Dylan Larkin, what are you doing with him? I think your first move has to be Dylan Larkin, whether you keep him, move him, what have you. You tell me.
Well, my first move, if you were to give me full control with no ownership,
no
restriction, thank you.
I got you.
You can spend, Justin.
I would not spend, actually.
Okay.
The first thing that I would do is I would trade Dylan Larkin. I may sit on Dylan Larkin. I may do what Steve was going to do and sit into the regular season and wait for a desperate team to come to me and offer me a king's ransom for him. But I will do the opposite of what he did. I will not be asking for a player of his caliber in return. I will be asking for a boatload of prospects and future picks to start a rebuild. And then I will proceed to trade every single one-year contract of a player with value that I have on the books. That is Alex DeBrincat, that is Justin Falk, that is John Gibson, and at that point, I will then have 10-plus first-round assets that I will have added to the system. I then pull up every prospect that is even remotely ready to play in the NHL, and I have them play NHL games, and I have us suck. And we tank for the number 1 pick. Tank hard, where we are top 3 odds and this is a flash tank. Like, this is this year. Like, this year at this season, even if we trade everyone at the trade deadline, we're still going to be bad enough post-trade deadline that we're going to get to the bottom of the standings. And then at that point, I'm going to pray to whoever is my Lord and Savior, and that's because I'm keeping it. Could be anyone. It's an open-ended. Whoever you are looking up to in the sky to, and I pray that I get the number 1 overall pick. And if I don't get it, then I hope I get it next year. And at that point, if I don't get it, I take those 2 picks, and I hope I got the best player possible, because at that point, every single prospect that is playing in the AHL right now and just starting to get into the NHL has played 2 years of NHL minutes at that point. And at that point, I'm looking to add. I'm using the rest of that firepower, those first-round picks that I have war-chested over this Larkin trade, DeBrincat trade, and Gibson trade, and I unload them to bring in talent in here. Whoever I can get that is worth any shit that I can put on my top 2 lines offensively. And this is already built off of Edmondson, Raymond, and Sider. So we're already got a good base here. This is not going to take very long. 2 years, I'm ready to make moves that get my team into the playoffs or over the hump into Stanley Cup contention because of the groundwork that I lay right now with making a Dylan Larkin trade.
And I think that's fair, and I think that will be appreciated by this fan base. I think the fan base, care. 100%. At the end of the day, the fan base are mad that we're stuck in limbo. We're stuck in the same space. We're stuck in the 6th position. We're stuck in, here comes April. You know what time it is in April. We're going to falter. Excuse me. Let me go 1 month back and make that March. Fan base is tired of that. I think if you make a move like that and a plan like that, yeah, you may suck for a year, or you may be out of the runnings for a year or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, but the fan base sees that you actually have a plan. The fan base actually sees that you are acquiring the type of talent that you need to move this organization in a forward momentum. Right now, you are stuck in limbo, and the people that are clamoring for Stevie Y or arguing on that side, it's not going to get better with him in the same position. You know the definition of insanity? I don't have to say it. We say on the show all the time, it's doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Stevie Y is not the result you need as a GM. That's why the team and Stevie Y have agreed to the situation that is on tap. And maybe Larkin isn't either, so move on from him. I'm not lobbying for Larkin to stay. I'm lobbying the fact that this move was a good one because you need a reboot. You need a rebuild. We're going to clean up that Ward Manuel conversation from yesterday, too. Guess what? I'm cool with him leaving as well because the team and U of M, they need a reboot. They need a refresh. Everything that's going there in Ann Arbor underneath Ward Manuel, whether it was his fault or not, it happened under his tenure. Keeping him there, what does it look like? You're always going back to what it was. Same thing with Yzerman. You keep him in a space he's not winning, you're just going to keep him there because he's Stevie Y. He's the captain, my captain. You guys are still arguing for him right now because of what he did in 96 and 7 and 8, what he did in the 80s when he first got here. You're arguing with that guy. You're arguing for that guy. You're not arguing for the guy that missed the playoffs the last 8 years in a row. You're not arguing for the guy that doesn't talk to players because his ego is still through the roof. You're not arguing for that guy. So separate. I think a rebuild is major, and I think a rebuild is necessary in both places.
And there's no other time than right now, as Justin said.
Yeah.
Because you get this.
You're starting from a better point where Yzerman started from. Yzerman didn't have Sider. Yzerman didn't have Raymond. Yzerman didn't have Edmondson.
Yeah, that's facts.
He had Larkin, and that's it. That is the only thing that he had, and he had to tear down everything else because there was nothing special here when he took over. This GM is going to take over with a top 5 defenseman, with a borderline top 10 winger, and a probably top 15 winger. I love Lucas Raymond. But I'll be fair here.
Okay.
And a young defenseman who is growing into a very solid number 2. And then you have 2 goaltenders in your pipeline that should be starting caliber. So you have a good base here. You got better things that Yzerman had when he started the rebuild. However, you have to capitalize on them, and you have to do right by them. And whether that is keeping Larkin, you got to add more around Larkin. And if it's getting rid of Larkin, then you got to get rid of more than just Larkin.
If I was a fan base, Anson, I'd be happy. I'd be happy it's happening the way it is because, 1, you're going to get your rebuild, and 2, a lot of people out there, they did not like Larkin. And they kept making the conversation, look, he doesn't show up in the big moments. He falls in April. He doesn't lead them through March. All these conversations, guess what? He won't be here anymore. Larkin's a guy that you can move on from. And if this is how you felt about him, why wouldn't you want him to go through that door?
And you define insanity. And the fact is we were looking at the same type of offseason we've seen for 8-9 years now, and we all expected the same results, right? We didn't expect things to change. We didn't look at this offseason and say, oh, man, they're ready. You know, when we looked at the Tigers offseason, like, okay, this is the best team in the division. But we didn't have that here. So to Justin's point, if you do it now, everyone expects the same result, except for you're doing things differently finally. Yeah. So they can live with the result by trading everybody else away, seeing a plan, a non-Yzer plan that looks new. And hey, we missed the playoffs, but we got some great draft picks. We're about to be in the draft lottery, however that thing works on ice over there. But I think this is the plan, Justin. You have this 1 year, because you can't bring anybody else in and ask them to do it 2, 3, 4 years down the line. Hockey Town is not going to stand for that. So I love it. I hadn't really thought about that because I don't think that this team is that bad, but they're stuck right in that purgatory of you don't have the assets to get it done. No one wants to come here and take up your salary cap room that you do have, and you're too far off for your farm system to really impact you. So play to the future, play to the youth, sell now.
Yeah, and you always understood what Larkin was, and I think in the last 3 years you've seen even more what he was. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he a great player? No. But when he's around top talent, he shows up. He showed up 2 years ago in the World versus USA. He showed up in a major way. We were looking like, damn, where's that Larkin at when we get to the Red Wings? Same thing happened this past Olympics. He shows up when he's around other great players. So you move on from Larkin. My question is this, though, Justin. Here's another one. With other teams understanding what the situation is, kind of like the Skubal situation we were talking about, they understand that they're moving on. They understand they're not happy. You can't get the exact same value. What is the actual value of a Dylan Larkin? Like, what is his value and what can he truly usher in? Because people are looking at this situation. They know he wants to be gone. They know the team is trying to move on from him. What is his true value and what can you truly accumulate in that situation?
I mean, it's so hard to come at it without a nuanced approach because obviously higher level draft picks are worth more than picks at 30. So you have to take that into account. So we're just going to say at the mid-level, we're talking pick 20. If we're talking about assets that are worth pick 20, Dylan Larkin is worth 4 first-round assets. If we're talking about elite assets, he's probably worth 2 or 3. And that's more in the realm I would be expecting. Like San Jose is a team that is called about Larkin. If that truly is a destination for him, they have a young player who they picked in the top 2. His name's Michael Misa. He plays center. Him and another player, and it's a done deal. Like Misa is a guy who could grow into being exactly what Dylan Larkin is right now, and you're going to get another player on top of him. Like that'd be what I would be trying to explore right now if I was the GM. Now we have no idea, and now we're honestly delaying the process even further because now we're going to have to find a GM before we even think about moving Larkin. And how long does it take to find a GM usually? I'm just curious. Like, if you have any guess,
if they're not going in house,
I'd say
it could take a while.
I'd say a strong
couple weeks.
No, I was going to say a strong
month or 2.
Like they've already been looking for
it.
it.
I was going to say 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 3 to 6 weeks.
Because you got to have conversations. You got to pull people in. You got to vet the process. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like calling people, hey, cool. There's follow-up conversations once you get into the 4 guys that you like. There's 3 and 4 conversations with those guys. Then you got to break that down to the 2 who's available. So realistically, in the moment you're in now, like you're in hour 25. This is very you're a Michigan guy. This is very similar to the last couple coaches we've hired. We've had to hire them with not a lot of time. So I think it takes a moment to have those conversations and to elongate a plan. Because the one thing that you can't do, I'm not coaches, but GM, but anybody, the one thing that you can't do, you can't rush hire anybody just for the sake of having somebody.
No.
Just for the sake of making a new situation. This is a situation that the Detroit Red Wings organization has never been in before. Maybe will never be in again. It's a different era, so never say never. It has to be the right hire.
Let me ask you a question real quick. I know we're up against it. Justin, what effect does this have on Larkin in terms of what he wants from a trade? Does this make him want to come back, or does this, and this has nothing to do with the Red Wings, or does he now open up? Because I see a lot of people in the chat, well, if he was worth anything, they would have gotten somebody, he'd be gone already. He was only okaying 4 teams. There might be 15 teams out there that are willing to pay the price, but we don't know. Does Larkin open up his availability in trade, or does this make him want to stay because he doesn't have to worry about his good buddy Stevie?
Yeah, list of 3, but there's been about 7 teams, I believe, that have called on Dylan Larkin already. But no, I genuinely think the why that there has only been 3 teams on the list this whole time is because he's like not trying to leave. Yeah. If he wanted to leave, he would add more teams to the list. There's more than 3 teams that are good teams in the NHL that are good places to go live and go play out the rest of your NHL career. That's why, because it's been so long. Like, think about it. It's been 2.5 months since this list has been put out there, and there's been no movement on it. If Larkin wanted to leave so bad, wouldn't he have added some teams to the list? And the reason why he hasn't been moved is because Steve Yzerman's point has always been, I will not do anything to jeopardize the future of the fan base or the future of the franchise. And trading with Vegas,
that was fake. That's what I do. That's what I feel about that. Whenever somebody says you've seen me that whenever somebody says some BS, that's always my response. Blow it out your ass like that.
That one really sounded legit real, though.
No, it was not. Because you know I giggle when this shit happens.
You do always. That's why I looked at you. I was waiting for the giggle, and then you were all serious.
Sorry about that, Justin.
Sorry, buddy.
No, you're all good. We all got to be clowning.
There's a duck running around in here.
However, I forgot my point. Sorry, guys. ADD hits me.
Said amnesia, baby.
100%.
Nah, it's that ADD.
Hey, you know what? I understand a little bit about that, so I feel you, my brother. Let's take a quick commercial break. We're up against it. It is 3:01, and we're rocking and rolling, talking about the Steve Yzerman Detroit Red Wings situation that, oh boy, this year it just keeps getting better and better, or worse and worse, depending on what side you are on.
I remember my point. All right. No, we're going back to it. I remember my point. So, if Dylan Larkin wanted to be in Detroit, didn't want to be in Detroit, why did the teams literally be teams that he could handpick, go to, that are a Stanley Cup contender, that have essentially guaranteed to win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years, as guaranteed as it could be, versus taking 2.5 months of his name being dragged through the mud in his hometown? Why would that not make him want to leave more? He did not. It did not make him force Yzerman's hand give Yzerman what he wanted, honestly, and expand the list. Because if he would have
Ilitch's hand.
He did. He forced Ilitch's hand to get rid of Yzerman, and I think it's a 50-50 shot that he comes back. And I know that Sean and Neil are going to tell you that it'll never happen, and I know Spendy's going to tell you it's never going to happen. But I'm gonna sit on this. I think this is one that it is a real possibility that there's at least going to be a conversation. I guarantee you that. Yeah. There at least will be a conversation with the new GM about him staying, because at the end of the day, he is one of the best players on your team, and your team is on the cusp of making the playoffs. So if they go with someone who, it all depends on who they hire. You will know what they're going to do by who they hire.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that regard, because I think this goes back to the power of the player, and I think this goes back to them winning This goes back to Team USA winning the gold medal, man. Like, when you win the gold medal, there's a different type of stroke, there's a different type of respect, and there's a different type of leverage that you have. I don't care what you think about it, it is the case. 1980, those guys can do and say whatever the hell they want to. They had stroke. And just imagine if 1980 Miracle on Ice team, imagine if they were pros. So I think when you look at a situation, you're Chris Ilitch and you're the Red Wings, your guy, Olympic gold medalist Dylan Larkin, it has a different ring to it. It has a different connotation to it. And you're talking about him wanting to get the Hughes brothers of the world, the Tkachuk brothers of the world, and bring them to this place that we call Hockey Town. If I'm the front office, if I'm Chris Ilitch, I got to look at that seriously. I can't just look at this as some non-superstar, some spoiled baby, or some whatever you may call it. I can't just look at it like that, because those are attached to his name as well. And I think him being here, realistically, Justin, makes a lot of valid sense. I think there's a great chance that he will be on that ice and wearing that C, realistically. So let's get a commercial break in. We'll switch some gears, got some fun stuff. We can clean up the other stuff. I don't even know where we go now. We'll figure it out, though, because we got stuff for you. Also, top 25 college football stadiums. We only care about the top 10. Interesting conversation there. That'll get us to some college football, because I know somebody is very excited, chomping at the bit to get into college football season.
Fun thing to talk about.
See, there you go. We switch it up, get a little fun. The read's not up here, but Icon Auto. Do you have that over there?
Just do a different read, Bray.
At the end of the day, Icon Auto. Oh, there it is, Art and Jake's. Art and Jake's A&J is the place we rock. It's the place we go from time to time. We get on location and we host events, whether it's Final Four, whether it's the Tigers versus the Yankees, whether it is the Red Wings. We are there, and they are too. Menu is great. 22 beers on tap, 80 TVs, wall to wall. You can do all of the things. Any occasion is serviceable when you go to Art and Jake's. Anytime is turn up time when you go to Art and Jake. Have a good time, but make sure you tell them that Woodward Sports sent you.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you know you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, it all starts with the kids.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
Justin Satawa here to tell you about Founders Water Hazard. Make sure you get one today because, look, when you're on the golf course, you want something refreshing and light, and this is the perfect thing. The Water Hazard, you can find it at any Art and Jake's in Michigan, and they taste like Baja Blast Mountain Dew. Let's just cut to the chase. They're amazing, they're light, they're refreshing, perfect thing to have on the golf course, so make sure you tap in with Water Hazard of Founders today. And while you're also on the golf course or doing whatever the hell you want to be doing on this great Wednesday, make sure you tap in with Mad Packs. Mad Packs now available at a retailer near you. They have the Boom Shakalaka and the High-Low Pre-Rolls. They are 1.3 and 1.5 grams of pure goodness, keef-coated, live resin infused, and they hit you and make you mad in a good way. Let me tell you, I'm going to hit some of those after the show, so make sure you tap in today with Mad Packs on Woodward Sports social media. Smitty just posted a video, so make sure you go smash that like button, share it with your friends, and get Mad Packs out there today.
Welcome back to the second hour of the show. Having a great conversation, having a great time talking about what is the future of the Detroit Red Wings. You know what sucks?
Be Rizzle.
On hot days like this, I hate when people blow the bathroom up. Like, you gotta have some cool. Like, it's too hot on a day like this to blow the bathroom up and not set it up like
Courtesy
walking there.
flush, bro.
The hell with a courtesy flush? Like, no, you need to put a courtesy sign on the door and say you're out of commission for 2 hours.
45
100%.
minutes.
And there's two offices here. There's our office. We occupy about 2,000 square feet. And there's a law office right there that occupies just under that. I got an inkling it's on their side. Man. But anyway,
no comment on that one.
I digress. What is the chat talking about? Are they still back and forth?
Yeah,
they're still pushing?
They're still eating each other alive over yesterday's conversation, which we are going to circle back to.
Yeah, 100%. The War Manual conversation?
Yes, correct. But for the most part, everybody's having fun. Everybody's hot out there.
Good vibes in the chat today.
I did see one guy that was just so over all of the Red Wing. He said, I'm going to go and get myself a case of Molson Triple X and pop in some VHS Red Wings games.
You know what?
Old school.
Then let's do this then. Like, I feel like Justin, where are you with the Red Wings conversation? You good for now?
Yeah, I feel like we're good. I feel like the people want a little. I was seeing a lot of
and Wolverines want something bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
they want the Ward Mania conversation, and then they were excited about the college football stadiums thing. They think it's a little refreshing. We're going to talk some college football.
Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's spin the Ward conversation now. We'll clean up our conversation from yesterday, get that out the way, another more serious topic, and then we'll jump into nothing but fun for the remainder, because this ain't going to take long.
I got a little something
I promise you that. Go ahead.
Jesse Woodward in the chat, the law office next door is sponsored by Taco Bell.
Nice.
Well played, my friend. Well played.
Like, that's not even fake meat anymore. Like, it was fake meat forever. Like, now we got to come up with a even crazier term to describe.
I'll still eat at Taco Bell. I'll still eat at Taco Bell. Don't you worry.
Taco Bell's been my favorite, like, until
I saw something on Twitter
my journey
yesterday.
changed, but
they're like
the border was
investigation into Taco Bell being the source of explosive diarrhea condition throughout the country, and the reaction was like, this is in the water is wet investigation category.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I don't get lettuce on my Taco Bell, so I haven't experienced any of my
tomatoes, no lettuce.
Well, no, I get tomatoes. I get tomatoes and onions, but just not lettuce. So I have not been affected by the butt COVID.
By butt COVID.
Here we go. Here.
Butt COVID.
Let's have.
I don't know what it's actually called, but that's what people call it.
Let's have this Ward manual conversation. Let's get this out in the open. Let's clean it up. And let's move on. Yesterday we had a conversation. We started talking about what's going on in Ann Arbor as it relates to the investigation that's been going on for a year, which comes to a head this Thursday, in which the regents will vote if Ward Manuel if they have just cause to have to not pay Ward Manuel and be able to move on for him as the athletic director for the University of Michigan. In the midst of heated situation, I feel like we got away from what we wanted to talk about. Anson, I'll let you go first. Whatever you want to say as it relates to this situation, you have the floor.
Well, listen, when it comes down to it, I want to throw out the olive branch to all my friends in Ann Arbor and their supporters. So I'm going to read a message that I got from a fellow Spartan yesterday. Got a funny Braylon Edwards story for you. This is from my buddy Skip. Okay. My buddy and I were at the Nas and Wu-Tang concert at Pine Knob a couple of years ago.
Shout out 2023.
All of a sudden, this 7-foot guy standing in front of me, and I'm like, great. Turns out it's Braylon Edwards. Of course, my buddy and I are both rocking MSU stuff. I think my comment to him was along the lines of, not only did I have to watch you torch my Spartans in person, now you got to block my view of the concert. He was the coolest dude and was going back and forth with us for the whole show. One of the very few on my short list of Wolverines I actually like. He was kind of upset that I was going to read that on air. I told him I was going to.
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad you did.
I know. You had a great time with him. And ultimately, listen, I did try and dance around it. You said
pandering.
Patronizing, I think you said.
Pandering.
I was trying to dodge because, as the chat knows, I can get upset on this topic at times. But ultimately, this looks the same as all of the stuff has for the rest of this decade. Doesn't matter the name or the assistant or the coach or the player that you throw out there, you all have to wait. There was an interview with Ward Manuel yesterday, and he was talking about, this does affect your family life. This affects your wife and your kids, and your aunt might still be kicking in. She's calling, is this really happening? We faked I was getting hired, and your mom called in the first 4 minutes of the segment.
This is true.
Shout out Mama Bray. I appreciate the love.
Make sure you were good.
But the people in the chat that are getting upset as Spartans or as Wolverines, myself yesterday, calm down. The man that has the most information is about to address it, at least at Woodward.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we've all driven ourselves crazy. The hammer's dropping, says OSU fans. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard it yet. So we'll wait.
I appreciate that. And I remember that concert. I was with Jeff, who you now know, who you like a lot. Jeff, it was a fun time. Shout out to Nas, Wu-Tang put on the show. I was just pissed that Method Man was not at that show. Method Man did the show before in Chicago and skipped Detroit. I'm not mad at you, but I wanted to see Method Man at that show. This is where I'm at with the war conversation in the University of Michigan, because it's a broader conversation. I wanted to condense it to just the war manual situation, the regents, the investigation that is, but it's kind of hard to separate when so much stuff has gone on in Ann Arbor since 2021 and maybe even a little bit before that, when you insert the individual who's responsible for a lot of this, who's nowhere to be found, as Jim Harbaugh. But I digress. The conversation that I was trying to have yesterday was just as it pertains to Ward Manuel and the Regions. I believe everyone in Ann Arbor, a lot of people in Ann Arbor knew what was going on. You cannot be that tight-knit of an organization. You cannot be an institution like the University of Michigan, and a lot of people play the game of, what? That's going on? I didn't know it. I agree with you on that. That's BS. As it relates to the Regions and how this situation is going with Ward Manuel, I stepped in to say I just disagree with the timeline and how this stuff is happening. Ward knew a lot. Ward knew the Sharon stuff. Ward knew the Connor Stallion stuff. You have to know if you're the AD, and that's fair. That's a fair conversation. But what the Regions were trying to prove, which they also knew, see, that's the part I was really trying to come in for, is the hypocritical side of what the Regions are now trying to usher in. Last year, they fired Sharon Moore because of what happened. They knew about Sharon 2 years prior to that. They knew about him 2 years prior to that, but they waited. He's winning national championships. He's serviceable. We'll keep holding on to him. Well, his first year he goes 9-3. We'll hold on to him. And then the situation gets off the rails. Well, now it's time to leak at the information that we know. So I agree with that. As it pertains to December till now, the University of Michigan hired an investigation. $20 million they spent on this investigation so that they can clean up what was going on in Ann Arbor. Clean up a lot of stuff that you knew about. Clean up a lot of stuff that you're in the know of, that you actually direct pipeline helped out with. That was my conversation. You fired Sharon Moore, which you knew about for years. You wanted to fire Ward, but you didn't want to fire both of them at the same time. So you waited. You had Chris Partridge, the linebacker coach, who they said was the scapegoat. Maybe he was, maybe he's not. I don't know. But I know he came out and he said what that institution was, what Ward knew, what Jim knew, what everyone knew. He comes out and drops all these bombs. Well, that was just in the file that they released that they held on to on March 26th. So he filed on March 26th, but there wasn't a peep. There wasn't a whisper. There wasn't anything. They sat on that filing until it served them again, talking about the individuals that are meeting tomorrow to see if they're going to terminate Ward and not have to pay him $12 million. That's more so what I'm talking about. So now, the week leading into the investigation, now you start seeing all these things. Ward's fired, Ward's not fired. Ward's fired, he's not fired. Here's John U. Bacon, who works for the Regions, who's one of their leakers, one of their information givers, putting all this information out now. Now the Chris Partridge stuff comes out. Now he knew about Sharon Moore. Now he covered up the Plan B. Now he covered up Connor Stallions. Now he did all these things to muddy up the water, because tomorrow they are voting to see if they have just cause. And if they have just cause, they won't have to pay Ward Manuel his $12 million buyout. The conversation I was having was just that. I was trying to say that it's very funny that all of a sudden the information that the Regions knew 2 years ago and sat on, now they're trying to use that same information now to crucify Ward Manuel. A lot of stuff can be true. I think there's a lot of BS that's happening in my alma mater. A lot of stuff is happening in Ann Arbor. We're not talking about all that right now, but change has to come. The Ward Manuel situation, they knew what they knew, and now all of a sudden, here comes Chris Partridge. Now all of a sudden, here comes this. Now all of a sudden, let's move on for him. He's not this, he's not that. He doesn't serve our interests. That's the conversation. If you want to move on from Ward Manuel, I'm fine with that. Because realistically, you can't have an athletic director still be the athletic director. There's so much stuff has happened under, because it makes it questionable when you see Dusty May leave. It makes it questionable when you see recruits leave. A lot of recruits have left in the last 2 years, and a lot of them directly point to those situations. So if you want a fresh start, like we're talking about with the Detroit Red Wings, you have to pull that trigger. But in order to pull that trigger, don't be hypocritical, lie about it, and set him up to take the fall for everything when everybody was involved. Pay him his $12 million or $6 million, and then let him walk out the door. And then you bring in a new athletic director. Then you bring in somebody that can help you usher in change to the school, to the institution. Appreciate the 2 national championships. Appreciate everything else. It's just not a clean situation. And if you want to move forward and get new recruits, you want to get new coaches, you want new things, you got to change up what is. So my thing is, the Regions are trying to pull a move. They're trying not to have to pay that man, which they should pay him, and then move on from the situation altogether. I think it is in everyone's best interest if they shake hands and they move on. That's where I'm at with that conversation. Like, at the end of the day, the institution, it's taken a lot of hits in the last 7 years, a lot of hits. Not unrecoverable, but it's going to be a minute before there is a type of respect in Ann Arbor that you used to have. So with that being said, that's where I'm at with the conversation.
Well said, my friend.
Cleaned up. We feel good about that one?
Yeah.
You feel good about that, Jay? I know you're a Michigan guy. All right.
Yeah.
I got nothing. If I say anything, I'm muted.
Okay. Fact.
I got nothing to say. If I say anything, Anson's gonna get mad at me. I'm kidding.
Nah, that was
a joke.
It's all good. All right, check this out.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't either.
I didn't hear it. No, honestly, I didn't.
Go ahead.
Something we'll address during the break.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go to the break now, or you want to keep this rock and roll? Because
I mean, hey, if they're enjoying it, I mean, listen, they've been eating each other alive in the chat over this stuff.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you know, for me, I think that this is the exact guy they wanted.
Yeah.
They knew NIL was coming in. This is the era of nobody knows. It's the wild, wild west. So they brought in a guy that, you know, a warden, if you will, that allows cigarettes to be brought into the prison. Yeah. Because you know that you got happy inmates, and happy inmates bring home championships. And I don't want to call them inmates because it's not like that, but you need a warden that's overseeing all of this stuff. And there's a certain amount of cheating that does happen in college sports. Michigan fans and everybody else has acknowledged that. And realistically, you have to go out and you have to get rid of a Nick Saban, a guy that lives in the past. And you have to bring in a guy like Dusty May that's willing to take these chances. Kurt Cignetti, same type of deal. Yeah. And the fact is between Santa Ono and Ward Manuel, you had a 1-2 punch that these guys were letting cigarettes in through the back door. And it was okay because at the end of the day, the things that you mentioned the Board of Regents knew about, it was okay until they needed them to serve a purpose. And the fact of the matter is as much as it pisses off state fans and OSU fans and people down in the SEC, in the wild, wild west, an era that we'll look back at 20 years from now, remember the NIL era? You got 2 chips. That's end of this story. Now, all of Ohio and all of East Lansing, we want that hammer.
Yeah,
we're hoping for the real asterisk. We want them stripped. We want them taken away. So yeah, Lester yesterday started the show like nitty gritty. Is like, oh, Anson's gonna be so happy today, you know. And yes, we want those taken away. We want more of this to come out.
We had it.
But the fact is like the people tearing each other apart in the chat, the families that are arguing over this thing. Relax. Like, there's so much more that we need to know. We need to see what the Board of Regents do, and we need to see how the university responds, and ultimately how they move forward. I think that the hire of your guy out of Utah, that's a guy that likes to play by the book, has built a righteous program down in a righteous state, and trying to bring it over here. So I think that they're moving in the right direction. And ultimately, you know, I don't think that Spartans or Buckeyes are ever going to get what they hope for.
Yeah, no, 100%. The cool thing about the cool thing about that conversation too, though, is just having it is like, look, man, everybody has fault, everybody shares fault, but Ward is the only one that's been in the crosshairs legitimately since the inception.
And like, he's been okay with it.
100% because he understands.
And that's the guy you need.
100%.
Kind of bulletproof until you're not.
To stand up to the smoke. Like Ward Manuel, is he blamed for Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions and that cheating scandal? Like,
he's patted on the back, I think.
Exactly. Like, he's in the room, but he's in the back. Like, Jim Harbaugh, like, how much flack did we give him? When you look at the Mozzie Smith, because I'm looking at all these things, this timeline of things that they said happened under his tenure. Is it Ward Manuel's fault that Mozzie Smith had a gun that he actually had a license for but didn't have the license in the car? Is that his fault? Is Jim Harbaugh in the cheeseburger gate, is that Ward Manuel's fault? Is it Ward Manuel's fault that, what's his name, Donovan Edwards, that he retweeted something that people deemed a what's the word I'm looking for? A anti-Semitic comment. Is that Ward's fault that he retweeted something? Like, everything that has come out of, is it Ward's fault they fought in the tunnel? Like, all those things. So that's what I'm saying. Like, start pointing blame in a lot of different areas. But at the end of the day, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's been a lot of smoke in Ann Arbor, and there's a lot of fire.
Yeah. If you guys keep these chips, no wins are vacated. When you look back at this era, Michigan will look like a master of the era.
Shoot, realistically, like, I'm not shifting the conversation to point out what somebody else did wrong, but Kansas legitimately got caught cheating 3 years ago when they won the national championship in basketball. They did a brief investigation and they moved on. Like, it's not just, and this is not a Michigan comment. It's just not Michigan. Like, it's just one of those things where I think it's the powers that be. They're like, look, we'll push you to a point we'll push you to a point, we make you pay a fine, we make you do a certain thing, and then we'll move on. And I think that's what happened with Michigan. I think that's why a lot of people pissed, rightfully or unrightfully so.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, if you can get back to not having these things, because realistically, now that Ward might be out and it's been some years since Jim's been out, you kind of flush out all of that early 2020s era. You bring in the new people that they're bringing in, you reestablish leaders and best, which, that's up for question now. You can get back to that by the 30s, and you can get that respect back, and you still have 2 chips.
Isn't it crazy? I just heard you say 30s, and I think that was the very first time I realized what side we are of this.
5.
Yeah, not even us.
I'm
talking
talking
about
25, dog.
Exactly. Because you said 30s, I'm like, the 1930s?
I mean, it's not going to happen next year. Okay.
No, not at all.
It's not going to happen by 28, but I honestly think that depending on your hires, I don't think it's going to be Boykin, but I can't remember your coach's, your football coach's name. I think he was the perfect hire for the time and what the University of Michigan needed.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's make this about the loudest, noisiest, greatest atmospheres in college football. Hey. There are some great stadiums. There are some great names here. I want to do a blind top 10. I see this and hear this all the time. I want to do it here. We'll do a blind 10, and once we get to that, we'll talk about a team that's not in the top 10. That's not in the top 10, and we'll talk about them a lot. You want to get a message in from... Oh, is that Daddy's Dip? Is that not your Daddy's Dip?
Can you do that one?
No, I can.
You can do that one?
Yeah, I can.
We're without Cam, man. We want.
It's not. Sorry, guys, I'm not.
We're floundering. We're floundering, but if you're floundering on your day and you need a little pick me up, make sure you hit up Thrive today. New Tropic pouches, clean energy, natural caffeine, cognitive focus, and satisfaction guaranteed. They have all natural caffeine, which, let me tell you, they're awesome. I personally, when you just need that slight pick-me-up when you're dragging just a little bit, Thrive is the perfect answer to those late-day lulls. So get 15% off today with coupon code WSN at dipstop.com.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
You know how we are at Woodward Sports, man. We want you to partner up with the people that we partner up because we only choose the best. And that is why Icon Auto Repair and Collision is a spot for you. 3 locations. That's right. 3 locations around this great state. Their access. And also, too, best thing I like about them, too, man, they will also pay your deductible, and they even have loaners for rent. Make sure you go to somebody that understands taking your car serious, taking their time. You want somebody to take your time with a car. Often, guys give cars female names, right? I mean, I call my black Bentley, it was Black Beauty. I wanted her to be this amazing car. I would take her to Icon Auto Repair. You know why? Because I know they're treated right.
Hey, talk about getting treated right. We saw the employee culture out at Mortgage Pros. The employees are so happy because they are not only treated so well over there, but they've got an amazing opportunity with the #1 mortgage company in the state to change their lives and the trajectory of their families. I know you've been thinking about doing the same. So reach out, give them a call, 248-416-1361. They're right there in Troy, or you can find out more about them online at mtgopros.com. And we're back, aren't we?
We're back.
I thought we were going to a commercial there for a second. Couple things in the super chat here. People are mad. I kind of haven't been looking at it. Justin, I didn't know we were coming back right there.
No one fires him up like you, Anson. That's for sure.
That's right. You know,
even when you have a calm, beautiful demeanor and have a great head on your shoulders, they still try to find a way. You know.
Absolutely. I did wear my Spanish rub it in your French face shirt.
That game's been going on for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on that, eh?
My apologies. I had to run out to it for a second just to see
It's
where
honestly better that way.
our DoorDash order was. I'm deleting DoorDash after the summer, I tell you that. Keyword I said after the summer. Last night, Detroit Tigers, Riley Green was
There's
up
not been a shot by either team so far. Sorry to cut you off, Braylon.
No, you're good.
We're 30 minutes into the game, and there has not been a single shot either way.
No, you're absolutely good. I said we weren't going to talk about the All-Star game because we are not. But I will talk about this one key fact. Last night, Riley Green had a chance to hit a home run and knock in 2 Yankees players. I understand it was lefty on lefty, but my man Sanchez was struggling. Every time he kept giving – what's the GM for the Dodgers? The manager for the Dodgers?
Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
Every time Roberts looked at him to take him out of the game, you saw Sanchez. No. Just one more. And that last one more was Riley Green, Cody Bellinger on base, Ben Rice on base. Lefty on lefty, I was looking for it. Riley Green in three straight pitches strikes out. And now the Detroit Tigers the last 17 times at the plate in the All-Star game. You guessed it, strikeouts. 17 strikeouts in a row for the Detroit Tigers. I couldn't make this stat up if I wanted to. All right, I'm done with that. Let's talk about these stadiums. Blind rankings.
I thought you were going to say I'm Nostra Anson over here because you asked me what Riley would do last night.
And I was mad too because you saw what I wore on the show yesterday. So I had
did.
the hat, the All-Star 2026 hat. I had the jersey from last year, the All-Star
Justin
game.
Upton, 2017, last time a Tiger had a hit.
Justin Upton.
Is that right?
You are
It
correct.
is.
Riley would know that stuff.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Of the top 25 stadiums, we're only concerned about the 10. I guess we go around, see if you can get it. And once we get it, we'll focus on a team that is not in the top 10, which may be surprising for some. I don't know if it's that surprising for me. All right, here we go.
Is this going to be like Family Feud style? Where
Just
in the future, Bray, you need to find these lists and not look at them so that you can be one of the people guessing.
Well,
difficult.
This came out to your point, I agree. But this came out 3 weeks ago, so I saw it 3 weeks ago. I wanted to do it 3 weeks ago and kept forgetting. So this time I'll do it, but you're right. We'll have Riley, Sweet Potato, B-Lad do it, and then us three guess. I agree 100%. But for the purposes today, let's see if you guys can nail the top 10 in chat. I want you to join if you will. And if you know, so what? Let's still have fun. Top 10, let's see if we can get them. What are we thinking?
It's got to start with like L. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Penn State's on the list.
You said
Happy Valley.
I was going to say LSU.
All right, we got the number one off the board.
Yeah, Death Valley is going to be my first
Death Valley
choice.
is number one. You're on the board. Guess what? We got number 3 off the board as well. Anson said
State.
Beaver Stadium, home of the Penn State
man.
Nittany Lions.
I'm gonna go with Autzen Stadium.
So the Autzen Stadium, number 6
Texas
off
Tech?
the list. So here you go.
Texas.
I played at Ohio State, played at Penn State, also played at Autzen Stadium. So I'm batting.
And what is that? That's Texas?
That's Oregon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Oregon. All right, here we go. You got 3. You guys are 3 for 3 right now. You're cooking with.
I'm gonna go the other Death Valley.
Is that Clemson?
Ooh. You know what? You guys are 4 for 4. That is Memorial Stadium.
Guys, I could call ISO here and I could get this. I
AKA
promise.
Death Valley.
What about
4 for 4.
Unless
Texas A&M?
Oh,
That's a good
shout
one.
out to Kyle Fields
good one.
coming in at number 10.
Good poll, Riley. Good poll.
I mean,
5
what I'm
for
here
5.
for. I know that kind of shit.
I'm noticing something I don't hear, which I think everybody
the Quiet House
is already on the same page, 100%. We'll get to it when we get to it, but you mentioned it. You mentioned it.
I wouldn't put it up there.
He didn't mention it in that regard, so we'll wait. All right, you're 5 for 5 right now. Where you guys at? It's pretty easy.
We're overlooking.
Let me go with.
I don't want to give you any help.
Athens, Georgia.
There we go. There we go. Athens, Georgia will be Sanford Stadium, home of the Georgia Bulldogs and UGA.
Did anybody say Bama yet?
Yeah, let me. That was my next one. Let me go with Bear Bryant Stadium with some wacky Nick Saban field.
Georgia was 4, and he's absolutely correct. It is Bryant-Denny Stadium. Shout out to the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, you guys have nailed it. You guys got 1. You got 2. 2 is easy. You got 2, 7, 8. 2, 7, and 8.
All right, let me go again. Ohio Stadium.
Number 2 is off the board. You guys are actually pretty easy for you.
This is his wheelhouse. I'm not going to take his thunder here. Go ahead, buddy.
I mean,
Two
you can
more.
go ahead. You can go ahead. I don't want to take all of them.
No, you got 2. You're worried about getting those 2 wrong, aren't you?
No, I'm not worried at all.
Finish it up. Come on, college football elite. You are the king.
There's a theme. If you stick with the theme.
I know the theme. The theme is SEC.
Yeah.
The
There you go.
theme
That's
is SEC.
Yeah. So Michigan's not on the list. That was the elephant in the room. They are 12 this year. Even in years past, like Michigan Stadium's not loud. Like, don't get me wrong. There are moments. Like when Michigan won in 2021 in the snow game and they beat Ohio State, you can hear people from Detroit in Ann Arbor. It was loud as I don't know what. It's a ruckus. The night game against Notre Dame, last touchdown by Detroit. There are moments where it's loud, but on average, I would have to unfortunately agree it does not crack the top 10 because I've been to 8 of the teams in the top 10. It's just something different about the SEC. It's something different about Ohio State. They're crazy. And then the whiteout, which they don't do anymore thanks to Big Noon Kickoff for ruining it. They do it at 12 o'clock. It does not have the same effect. Yes, so 2 more.
Tennessee.
And that is one of them. Shout out to Neyland Stadium.
Is that 7?
The original, I want to say them and Michigan were the original 100,000. Obviously, the Rose Bowl.
So this seems like a nuanced list.
It
here.
is.
It is a nuanced list. So like a part of me wanted to go Texas. I don't think it's on there, and I think that's controversial. And because of the nuance of this list, this last pick to keep perfect.
I'm gonna help you before you go. I'm gonna help you without giving you a hint. Don't necessarily trust where you're about to go.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I think I know who it is.
I think I do too.
Because it's a nuanced list. They're a Michigan type situation, but
are they in the ACC?
No, they're still.
They're still in the SEC.
Yeah, but like
I have a feeling I know which one.
I'll shut up.
They're not as nuanced as I think then, because my answer is very nuanced, and the college football elite tend to agree with me. But because you're saying that, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. But
what were you about
was
to
gonna
say?
say Ole Miss.
I was gonna say Auburn.
Okay, so
Clemson.
We said Clemson,
yeah, we
already.
yeah.
It's a team that when you hear it, you're like, yeah, they just suck. And that's what I was trying to say without saying.
Mississippi State?
It's Florida.
Oh,
the swamp.
Okay, I was gonna say Florida was.
Yeah.
See, you shouldn't have told me what you were gonna say because I was between Florida and Ole Miss.
And that's what I was trying to get you. That's on me.
They don't have the nuance though. Florida right now is not. There is no fear going into Florida. There hasn't been for the last 5 years. They've been abysmal at home. I like this. I don't like that. They should have said Ole Miss.
I agree, but then Florida, they still get drunk. They still go to those games.
It's still the swamp. It is still the swamp.
They still get to do the wacky Florida clap.
So that stadium.
Maybe not, to your point, maybe not 7. Maybe stick them at 10 because Kyle Stadium is loud.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't care what Texas A&M ranking is. And, by the way, they happen to be good lately, at least in the regular season. So I like this, man. I've played Ohio State. It's loud as hell. Penn State's loud as hell. I played at Michigan. Husky Stadium in number 15 is also loud as hell.
I went there 2 years ago. It was great.
I take Husky Stadium over Florida. Notre Dame is number 20. Va-Tech, which just their entrance alone should get them in the top 15. But Lane Stadium is 22. Maybe
they start winning.
A Michigan State Spartan. Maybe Michigan State Spartan.
Start winning.
Where's MSU?
Spartan, but what's the name? Penn State.
100.
Yeah. Where's MSU?
It's not a perfect
Michigan
spot
State
for him to end up.
Yes, 100%. Talking about
James Franklin.
James Franklin.
I agree. I love that landing spot for James
on
Franklin.
Here.
Yeah, they're unranked.
Justin, I throw this out here. You mentioned Oklahoma, who is just one in front of Michigan at number 11. What does that game look like this year?
Ooh, you now want to ask me that question.
I want you to be honest,
few people. I know, you know where I'm going with this, Bray. Yeah. I'm one of the few people at the network who thinks that that's going to be a loss for Michigan. Oklahoma is going to be one of the best teams in the SEC this year. I think they're easily going to be a top 5 SEC team. I think this is a 9-3 Michigan team, 8-4 Michigan team. I don't think that if Bryce Underwood does figure it out ultimately, it will not be in week 2 of the season. Like, Oklahoma is coming back with a very veteran team, veteran quarterback. Their offensive line should be better. I don't like Venables as a coach. I think Whittingham is a better coach. However, I just think Oklahoma is going to have way too much talent. I know that we picked up some guys in the portal. I know that we fixed a lot of things that we had issues with on this roster. But personally, I do really think that Michigan is going to lose to Oklahoma at the Big House in week 2. I don't think home field advantage is enough to overcome how good Oklahoma is.
Isn't that the game you guys jumped at the beginning of last year? Very close.
That was exact same situation. It was
that was
week
on the
2.
road?
We were on the road last year. That is correct. Okay. And we were in the game for most of the game until they called back Justice Haynes' huge run for 80 yards, and then after that, our offense just died. I think it was 21-7 or something like that.
Yeah, they lost by 14.
And we lost by 14, yeah.
They were 3.5-point favorites?
Yes. And they didn't let Bryce Underwood do anything. They played scared football. It just was not a very good, like, all-around effort from the Wolverines. But we'll get Braylon's thoughts in after the break.
We will. We will indeed. You want to take that now?
Yeah, I want to take that now.
All right, let's go ahead and do that, and I will tell you guys about...
Why don't I tell the
nothing to tell
people about my favorite read? Amnesia, 2 flavors, 3 ways to enjoy in one device. They got the sativa, the mix, and the indica, and let me tell you, this is the best pen on the market. Doesn't clog. I haven't even gotten to the end of this one, and I'm not even close. 83 hits, so it's long lasting. It hits well, and make sure you tap in with Amnesia at any location. Oh, you hear that? That's what you want out of your pen when you're looking at a weed cartridge. And they also have great glass tip joints, so make sure you tap in with Amnesia today at your local dispensary.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. 1's great. 2, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network.
About Massage Chair House. Massage Chair House is the largest massage showroom in the great state of Michigan. Scan the QR code above my head and tap in with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc, on his YouTube channel, who take you through all the latest models of massage chairs and get you fitted for the one of your choosing. So make sure you tap in today with the Massage Chair House. And if you also want to update your relaxation game, there is no better way than with Royal Jesters. 1.5 grams total, coated in keef, live resin infused. And look, Gold Crown has been a staple for as long as I've been smoking weed, since it became legal. So make sure you tap in with Gold Crown extracts today. They have are at literally I've never seen a dispensary that doesn't have Gold Crown. So make sure you tap in with them today.
Notre Dame was 20th on this list, man. That's crazy.
That's not surprising to me.
No, I mean, they're not necessarily loud, but I would say they are
prestigious.
Let me not say anything out loud. You're absolutely right. Notre Dame, you are where you belong. What you over there laughing at? What you over there laughing at?
Don't worry about stirring up those
the conversation still going.
Catholics over there. What's their nickname? The Catholics or convicts and Catholics?
That was like Miami
that's the
versus Notre
Miami.
Dame. Yeah, they are the Catholics.
Bray, I do have a bet if you want to get on it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna throw it out to the people because I'm looking for a little action on this soccer game that I'm about to watch for the next hour. So I threw one in there. I got draw. I think that it's gonna end regulation in a draw.
Okay.
And then I have Argentina to win in overtime, and that is plus 350.
PKs?
It doesn't matter if they win on goals or if they win on PKs.
To your point, I got you. And I like that bet. I like it a lot. I was saying, what do you think it's going to be, PKs, or are they going to win in extra time?
I think it's going to be PKs. I think both these teams. I'm not watching the game. Obviously, I'm on the show, but from looking at the score app, it seems like they're both playing very passive, considering there's 2 shots in the first half.
How much time is left in the match?
It's about to hit halftime right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay, about to hit halftime. Oh, okay, you still got.
Oh, it just hit halftime. Halftime just started.
Okay.
So that if you're looking for a second half bet, that is what I would recommend.
Circling back to the Yzerman talk. Let's bring it full circle one last time. When do we expect to hear from the Wings or Stevie Y or anybody? When do you expect any audio, any soundbite, any podium, any presser? Because realistically, you cannot make a move like this and not have somebody come to the podium to have a conversation. Do we expect that to be today, tomorrow, this week, or will it be another situation where mum's the word?
This kind of seems like it. I mean, it was developing, but I don't think that they have their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
I think that they still have to interview somebody for a GM. This has been so under wraps that you'd think if they were doing some sort of interviews, if they were flirting with any candidates right now, we would have had a little bit of smoke where there's fire and lays right now. You know, so for me, I don't know. We might have to wait a whole week.
Yeah,
that's going to hurt.
Yeah, I believe it's a situation like this came about.
I think so.
I think it came about because today's Wednesday. Typically, you don't get information like this on a Wednesday. Things like this happen Friday, so you can't talk about it over the weekend, and you can kind of it's like an Irish goodbye. That's how you do it in the media. If you drop it on Friday, you can escape, and then they can't really hit it hard until Monday, or you do it on Monday. So they're doing it on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. Like, that's kind of like all right, like, we have no other recourse. Like, this has to be the move.
It's almost like Illich and Stevie were just having cigars and some drinks last night.
What do you think
if I just step down?
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, what do you think if I just step down?
Yeah.
Would that help?
I'll just advise. I'll advise.
I can help you with baseball, buddy. You know, and because it really seems out of nowhere. I mean, literally every media in Detroit, whether you're super down on Yzerman or not, we've all voiced for the fans that we're down for 3 more years of Steve. We were on board. Despite the failures, despite no playoffs, we were on board. And the fact that you're 3 weeks after, 3 weeks since free agency opened, Justin, something like that? You're 2/3 of the way through and you make this call now. I think you're right, Brad. I think that this just happened. Happened.
I don't expect to see anyone at the podium anytime soon. Yeah. Until they have hired his replacement, I expect to hear niche, nada, nothing. That's how they operate as a group, and they have showed it with the Tigers, and I think that there's no reason to believe that would change now.
Fair. Absolutely fair. We live in a different day and age now, man. I think as it relates to society, as it relates to the more information, as it relates to more things out there, sports landscape is going to change. And what I mean by that is, did you see what happened with Stephon Diggs? Did you hear the information that came out with Stephon Diggs? There's a man, I repeat, there is a man coming out alleging that Stephon Diggs sexually assaulted him. There was assault, and also there was maybe a Bill Cosby type of situation as it relates to pills of that nature. Like, this isn't the first time this has come out. The guy's doubled down. He came out 2 years. He came out a year ago, and he doubled down this year. There's other things going on as it relates to Cardi B, in which she's alleged about her man. And once again, we use the word alleged because we don't know. Wink, wink. That's the day and age that we in. Now, football players are getting charged with, or not charged, are getting alleged to have sexually assaulted other men. Like
digging himself a hole.
I saw the story and just was like, but like, I don't know what's what. I don't know what's true, so I don't speak in truths. I speak in like speculation. But like, he's a zesty player.
The
like
zest
the
is
purses,
real.
the bags,
The
like
zest
it's
is very real.
Like the zest in the NFL, like this, in sports is up. Like in terms of the fashion, I don't mix fashion with that term zest. I see a lot of zest. I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, is that another reason why, if you're an insert team that needs a wideout, why he's lobbying to be a number 2? Still on the market.
I mean, the dude's bounced. He's bounced and bounced, and I'm not trying to make any kind of a double entendre there. I mean, the guy is not liked. The guy's a high-value skill. I mean, he's talented, but or it's high-value talent, should I say, but nobody wants him. So this goes hand in hand with it. I don't know whether this is real or not, but the guy allegedly is not liked.
I want to say real, but because I am a show host, I will say alleged.
Allegedly.
But I will say this. Remember when they were doing those locker room, like asking players in the locker room, and they did the Minnesota Vikings? This is when he's still a Viking, and they went around the room and they asked. They was like, "Who's the player that you would let your sister date? Who's the player that you would?" Everybody in that locker room said the same exact name. I didn't know they meant that I wouldn't let them date my brother, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They don't want their sisters in a loveless relationship.
Or their brothers.
He probably is not even going to pay attention to him.
Yeah.
According to this story, allegedly.
Man, this is the space we're in, man. Did we get all the breaks in? Did we get all the?
We did.
Make sure we saw everything.
Mailbag, hit him in the chat.
You know what time it is.
Grab him, Justin.
Well, they need a quick 30
I shut the chat
seconds.
down today. People I like crossing lines. I'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, you shut it down
handle
today?
it.
It was a lot going on in the chat for you.
They were waiting for him.
It's hard.
They were
It's
waiting
hard
for him.
to provide a mirror for people at times.
Okay.
So I would like you to provide the mirror.
Yeah,
today,
I can
Justin.
absolutely do it. And I gotta say, everyone chill on my boy Anson. All right, you guys came in guns blazing.
I would agree.
You opened the show and there was already stuff in there about Anson. Just relax, guys. We're all friends here. He loves.
It's an entertainment show, guys. Like, we're here to entertain you, and sometimes you'll get offended. Sometimes we offend each other.
True.
But you show up here to have fun. And
Anson
guess what
offends
guys
me every
do?
day.
Guys talk shit and offend each other at times. And if people in the chat, if you don't think that you've ever written anything offensive in the chat, well, then I applaud you, and I tell you, you're probably wrong. But guys, we're all dudes here. Grab your junk and man up. All right?
Well, not everybody. Shout out to middle-aged sneaker chick, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
guys
don't
coming
grab
in,
your
you know what I'm
junk.
saying? Not
Sneaker chick. I
everybody.
do love her, man. We got a lot more ladies in the chat lately. I do appreciate that.
We got something for them
Appreciate
too, because we're actually, Woodward Sports.
Yes,
we talk
we
about
do.
2.0. We talk about how we're building and how we want to be more representative of what's going on in our chat and what's going on in our community. The Woodward ladies are coming. The Woodward ladies are coming. The Woodward Sports women. We have a couple videos that have dropped.
What do we call it? Woodward Girls?
Woodward Girls Club.
Yeah, they go to Woodward Girls Club because there are a lot of women that know a lot about ball, man, talking about sports. So we want to encourage you guys to be more of a part of than just the chat. And be a part of actually coming down here to Woodward Sports and maybe saying, hey, look, this might be a place for me. And if it's not Woodward Sports, that's fine too. But don't just think that you have to listen to us. Don't think that you just have to be in the chat and be silent. Like, if this is what you rock with, if this is what you like, there are a lot of women influencing the world of sports these days, because it's not about if you played. It's about, do you know what the hell you're talking about? So don't be afraid.
There'll be championships in this city soon, so you ladies need to know what you're talking
Mailbag
about.
from...
I can smell that buddies over there. I'm quite excited, by the way.
I'm telling you, 100%. I'm looking at it. I was
hype.
I was like, is it 7 more minutes?
It's the original.
6 more. What you got, Jay?
Mailbag. Do you think Ward will be fired? Under the brass tacks.
Yeah, I think they're going to move on from Ward. Like, I think the investigation will not get what the reasons want. I think it will come back where they can't make a move that way, but I think the settlement will happen right away, or the buyout will happen right away, because I don't see a situation where U of M is trying to move forward with Warde Manuel as the AD. Kind of similar to what happened with Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings and Stevie Y. The only thing is you cannot see Warde Manuel and not think about what has been the past 7 years here. It's just one of those things. And if let's say, soon my son will legitimately be charting that path of what school am I going to go to. If my son was 18 this year, like if this was the year in which he was going into college, I would be hard pressed to have that conversation, because questions need to be asked. What does the program look like? What does the AD look like? What are the things that I hear about? Like, no. I'm not talking about what you tell the media. I'm not talking about what you tell yourself. Shoot at me straight. Why did Dusty May leave? Why did this guy leave? Why is this guy out and then it's quiet and mum's the word? Why did this happen? There's a lot of questions that you have to ask. And those are some tough questions a lot of times for people to answer honestly. So realistically, like, I don't see you being able to move in a positive direction with him this year.
They got their chips. They need to get back to leaders and best.
Yeah.
They have to shut the door on that era.
I
They
would
got
agree.
what they needed.
Yeah. And you got your chips, man. Isn't that what counts? So
that one was courtesy of Michael Wary. Shout out to him. We got another one in here from Freddie Felt. Make sure you keep dropping in those mailbags so that we can get them answered. You ever wonder anything about any of us? Drop it in there. Mailbag. Favorite bevy on a hot day? For me, this is from Freddie Felt, tie between Yellow Gatorade, Slurpee, Arnold Palmer, in no particular order.
That's a tough list.
Watered down lemonade.
Yeah.
That's lemonade. Fresh squeeze,
But
no doubt.
I need not the super strong sugary stuff. I want it watered down.
Yeah, that's on brand. I want the super sugary stuff, and then I want to put water in afterwards, and then it's perfect.
First couple sips, super sugar, I get that.
Yeah, I like both, and I want both. I drink lemonade like a madman. I love lemonade. Lemonade easily
lemonade's the best
number
juice,
one.
and
then after lemonade, we got a beer, cold beer, and
a water
Slurpee.
hazard, you may say.
On a cold day, I like the water hazard. It's cool, it's refreshing, it's citrusy even, 5% ABV. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just so natural, it just comes, you know what I'm saying? Lemonade for sure. Like, I love freckled lemonades from a place.
Freckled lemonade?
Well, I don't want to say the place, they're not a sponsor, but yeah. It's
what does that mean?
It's a strawberry freckle lemonade. I think the strawberries provide like the freckledness that they're talking
love
about.
the name.
But yeah, for sure, like strawberry, like down south when I was living in Georgia, anytime you down south, they make the best lemonade. Like, it's
add
not even
anything
close.
to lemonade, I'm
Peach
happy.
lemonade, and then if we want to go old school, like Citrus Cooler by Gatorade is the best flavor that they ever made, and it was Michael Jordan's flavor, and they never ever have it anymore. It used to be it's orange, had the black label. Citrus Cooler was like electric.
I remember.
Citrus Cooler was like, sometimes I dream that he is me. Yeah, the Citrus Cooler. Citrus
In the
Cooler or
glass jar, dog.
Yes, you remember the old school? Yes. Yes.
Back when they made it.
But that's back when glass was everything. I remember Faygo.
Oh.
The 45
glass,
cent Faygo was glass jar.
Dude, a glass burners back in the day?
Oh, tough.
Shoot.
Glass burners like will ruin your system. It turns out how strong it is.
Yeah.
But it's so
Sneezing
good.
after you open it. First couple
That's
sips.
a good question.
Love that, man.
Because it's hot as hell right now. And water should be like number one, but obviously we're being boring. I mean, we're not being
Water
boring.
is the
doesn't count.
foundation of all these drinks that we're talking about.
You know what? Facts. Can't
The
make
standard.
it without it. Also, it's in our bodies as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
It's so funny. Everybody's looking at the same thing. I think you, me, Riley are all looking at the
I'm
couch.
trying not
but
to look.
Justin's looking at knowing that he's about to watch FIFA as well as looking at that. Like I'm
shout out buddies.
How much time? 3 minutes. Remember Ryan would cut the show at like 3:55?
Yeah, for sure. Gotta get out of here.
All right, we gotta go. I don't get paid. Get us out of here, Bray. Baby.
Shut up,
I saw
everybody.
Ryan, man. We had a great conversation talking to him, man. He's doing his thing over there at WJR, man, and just love Ryan and what he's able to do. He won 2 awards this year in terms of the work that he's doing with WJR as well as the work he's continuing to do with Fox. But like his energy, soon as I came around the corner, all I heard was "You, baby." I was like, "Oh, this is Ryan." I said, "I know who that is." So it was good to see him this past Monday, man.
The
All right,
ultimate Michigan slappy and alumni.
Yeah.
I must give him that.
Like he said stuff that like even Michigan people were like,
"Ooh, easy guy."
I remember when he told me that. He told us. He said J.J. McCarthy was gonna be the best quarterback in that draft. I was like, Ryan. Sometimes you pull people to the side like after the show, and you're like, look, bro, like if you care about any like credibility, you can't say stuff. If you don't, you just like stoking the fire. He's like, one, I believe it, and two, I don't care.
He also had some freshman Heisman aspirations for one Wolverine.
Bryce Underwood. I think he did. I think he did on that. But he's right too. Like that's what
misused him.
That's what pisses people off about him is like he's right and they don't get the credit when he's right. They just point out to the Malik Willis takes or the the Malik Willis take or the Bryce Underwood take or because I remember when he said that Aiden Hutchinson was going to finish higher than K9 in Heisman, and people said absolutely crazy. He almost won the Heisman.
He did.
He almost won the Heisman that year.
Charles Woodson, man. I was in Russia when that happened. Like the only defensive player to ever win it. I wanted to see that so bad. My favorite position, my favorite college player ever, and I'm in Russia.
Like I don't cry about sports. I don't think sports is. I think there is a space where you can cry in sports. I'm not a crier. I won't cry in sports. 1997, I almost cried twice. So I almost cried like when they announced him at the Heisman. Like there's no way he was beating Peyton Manning. Then there was no way he was gonna beat Ryan Leak. I thought it was going to be sure. I think Peyton or Leak. Randy Moss was up there too. When they announced his name, like his reaction.
Hit you, huh?
Well, you can see he completely
Stunned,
shocked. Because also you see Randy Moss pushed him to go up.
That was you, dog.
Like Randy Moss was like, he was like, that's you, dog. He's like, oh, and he gets up there. So that was a moment. And then when they won the national championship, when they won the Rose Bowl, I knew they were going to win the national championship. But when they won that year, it was like, oh my God, finally. Yeah, but look, man, we appreciate you guys coming up. Tough conversations take tough people, and that's what we are here on the Braylon Edwards Show. We are a tough crew that can give you the things that you need to hear. Steve Yzerman conversation is not going to stop anytime soon, but for us, it's done for the day. Go enjoy the rest of Argentina versus England. Enjoy your day. Stay inside. Stay cool. Get yourself some Gatorade if you can find it, or lemonade and water it down. For my man Anson Wells, for Riley, as well as my right hand, Justice Satawa. We got a Braylon Edwards Show, and we will see you mañana.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights are